Hello.
Hi. Good
Hi.
afternoon, everyone. Hi, Emma.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's nearly 4 o'clock. I thought I'd just get started. I can see some people joining us now. So, hi to John, Paula, Isabella, some staff from the foundation. Sally, hello, welcome. We're a little bit early, but I saw you guys waiting, and I couldn't wait anymore, basically. So while everyone makes their way over, I will definitely cue you in, Emma.
Okay.
Um, I just wondered. I kind of want to know where you're joining us from, which would be really good. On the bottom right of your screens, you should be able to see a little chat icon. Why don't I kick things off? It's a beautiful sunny day in London. It might show up as that I'm Bill Moorhead, who's our director. Hi, Rupinder. She beat me to it, beat me to the punch. I'm Kumar from North London. So let me know where you're joining us from, please, in the chat, just for my own intrigue rather than anything else. Hi, John, joining us from York. Great to have you here. Hi, Sally from Lewes College. I recognise your name, actually, Sally. I think you've been attending our webinars before. Hey, Colin. Amazing. Hi, Sam. Brilliant. Well, it's just got 4:01, so keep typing where you're from, and I'll give you kind of the intro blurby bit. So, very, very smiling Emma, as you can see on our screen, is our guest speaker today, but I'll just cue it up a little bit. So, hello again. My name is Kumar, and welcome to the Peter Jones Foundation's Igniting Enterprise webinar series. I work as the head of partnerships for the foundation. I've been your host for this academic year, and this is our fifth webinar, actually, where we are always joined by incredible business founders who are here to share their story with you. And we've been working with Pearson to basically carefully select these entrepreneurs and essentially end up with a resource that you can use in your classrooms. So when I say you, that's really the teachers of the three curriculums, really. So that's GCSE Business, A-Level, and the Tech Awards, so that this conversation can really match with the curriculums and is totally usable for your students. So really quick intro to PJF. I know a lot of you know who we are already, but we're obviously a registered charity with founder and president Peter Jones from Dragon's Den, yes, the lanky one. And we are at the forefront of encouraging, educating, and empowering young people around the world in enterprise and entrepreneurship. We've got Emma booked for the next kind of 15 minutes or so. Really looking forward to it. And towards the end of the conversation, I'll tell you a little bit more about our kind of core programs that your schools can take advantage if you're not already, of how we can give your students the best possible chances in kind of any path they choose, whether that's employment, self-employment, or going into higher education, should they desire that. If you've never used Livestorm before, that's the platform we're using. A little bit of housekeeping then. So if you can use, I see all of you doing it anyway, but if you can continue to use the chat and the questions tab if you want to do it there. Keep your questions coming in. We definitely want this to be like a two-way conversation to get the most value out of these discussions, so you can use them in the classrooms. And of course, snippets of the recordings will be shared with all Pearson course teachers, as well as on the Peter Jones Foundation's social channels, as well as a full recording being uploaded to our YouTube channel. Just before I introduce Emma, the next Igniting Enterprise webinar, it's a bit sad, really. You don't have one in April, and it's back pretty quickly in May, where we've got the final two, pretty much 2 weeks apart, basically. And the next one is a good friend of mine. I actually met him when I was part of NatWest's Accelerator program, running my own startup. And his name is Curtis Thompson. He's the founder of local Honeyman, which gives you a little clue of what that conversation might be about. And that's on 4th of May, but obviously we'll do our kind of usual posting and sharing, and please book yourself onto that one on the 4th of May. But without any further ado, Emma, I know you're dying to get started. Please can I introduce Emma Sweeting, founder of Sweeting's Greetings. Emma, how are you today?
Hi, Kumar. I'm very well, thank you. My face is aching from smiling for your lovely, lovely long intro there. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
Amazing. We've got a lot of ground to cover today, so I'm just going to get stuck in. I hope that's all right.
Absolutely.
So, Sweeting's Greetings, if you can kind of give us a quick intro for our audience of what it is. And I guess it's quite interesting. I mean, a lot of the business founders I speak to, it's kind of been born from a bit of a side hustle. So if you can talk us through the process of getting it set up from a hobby to an established business and kind of how you came across it as well.
I will. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. Hi. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm an artist and I make a living from selling bespoke portraits of people for other people. So I'm never going to run out of customers because as grown-ups, nobody these days waits for no one saves up for things. Nobody waits till their birthday to get things. If you want something now, you buy it. So when someone's birthday or special occasion comes round, we've all got everything already. Our houses are full of stuff. So that's where I come in. Somebody wants to say thank you or good luck in your new job or thanks for your old job or you've had a new baby, and they contact me with a list of stuff about you. Let's say I was doing something for Kumar for Peter Jones wanted something for Kumar, his hottest employee. Hottest as in best. Hottest as in best. So he would send me some photos of Kumar and send me some information about him, what he does for a living, his hobbies, funny foibles, and then I will just turn that into a work of art. So, for example, something like this.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So
wow, that's amazing.
That's a Father's Day portrait for somebody. Obviously, I can fit in the entire family plus pets. So as long as you send me the photos and the information, I'm just going to flash a few up. So new home.
Oh, wow. You know,
New
Emma,
home in Australia. Yes.
Emma, if I could, there's a couple of comments in the chat coming through that the audio might be you sounding a bit distant. You sound fine to me, but maybe is there anything you can do about the volume issue?
Let me try. 1 second. Sorry, everybody.
We captured that early. Thanks for telling us.
Is that better?
A little bit better. I mean, it sounds fine to me. I'll let the audience decide. Oh, they're saying not really.
Oh, okay. Let me see. No. Shall I just talk really loudly? Is that better?
Yelling is always a solution. I mean, unless you've got some headphones you can pop in, you can try that.
Okay. I'm gonna have to leave the room. Is that a problem?
Unless, I mean, I'll try and keep you up on it, but if you can just speak as loudly as you can.
Okay, I'm so sorry, everyone. I hope you can hear me. So I started off originally just doing, as Kumar was saying, it started as a side hustle, just literally doing off-the-peg greeting cards for people. There is no money in greetings cards. You cannot make a living selling a card for £2.99 that costs £2.89 to produce. So somebody once asked me for a card for a friend who is having an operation, and since then I've only done bespoke work because that's where the money is and that's where the joy is, and it means every single thing I do is different, and I love it, and it's very, very popular, and it's been a success, and I so enjoy it.
Amazing. I'm just keeping an eye. Do let us know if the sound issues is still prevailing and we can try and figure out a solution.
Is it still bad?
I'm intrigued though, Emma, about so did you say the original card you made that kicked everything off was on the back of an operation for a friend?
Yes, someone was having a bunion operation, and I drew a picture of him. I didn't know him, obviously, but I knew I was told he had a pet dog. He was having a bunion operation, and I think he loved go-karting or something. So naturally, I drew him with this enormous bunion in a go-kart being pulled along by his dog, his little terrier. And I think I saw that was £12, and now they're much, much more. And yeah, it's fantastic, and yeah, it's just a really personal present in a world where everyone just likes to give sort of luxury gin glasses or
Hmm.
picture frames or handkerchiefs. Yes, it means a lot. And obviously, once it's given, they're often given at birthday parties and work events and things like that. So then obviously lots of other people get to see them, and it's the word of mouth is a great factor for me.
What a nice like portion of the gift industry that you own. I mean, I can imagine
100% of it.
yeah, well, exactly. But I can imagine just that goodwill factor when you're trying to recover from a surgery and you get a very personalized card for yourself. I mean, is that how it normally works?
They're
Client.
absolutely not cards. I'm sorry, they're not cards. They're portraits. They're framed portraits. They're like this. They're in frames.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
not-
Are they always framed?
Yeah. You don't have to have them framed, but it's much more wow if it's framed.
Amazing. And do you normally, a client would normally approach you and be like, here's John's or here's Kumar's favorite 3 hobbies, like the go-karting,
Yes.
like the dog.
Exactly. Yes. They've usually got a pet, and yeah, you can have a house in the background, or yeah, their pets, their grandparents, anything. So the sky's the limit, and obviously have real creative license. So everyone in the drawings is much more beautiful than they are in real life, and it's yeah, lots of people like to be drawn naked actually. So there's they want something that's going to make them smile every day when they come downstairs and look at it. So yes, it's fabulous. It feels like I have total creative free reign, and because it's my own business, obviously I think all my own ideas are fantastic. So, and there's nobody but me in the business, so there's no one to tell me that my ideas aren't fabulous.
Well, that's a crucial part of this conversation is
yes.
we've had founders of all kind of types and all kind of sizes of organizations, really. And obviously, as a kind of still running it completely by yourself, I guess that kind of autonomy is really important. And so, since that first Bunyan card, if we can call it, or Bunyan portrait,
yes.
How has the business grown since that?
Well, massively. I guess like there's obviously events throughout the year, and I do stalls and I do live events, and I'm now currently doing workshops in schools. So by pure coincidence, a client of mine, I now work for a trust which has 3 schools in it, and I'd actually done private commission for staff, the head teachers at each of those 3 schools. So I'm now going into the classrooms with all different age groups, primary, middle and senior school, doing art with them. And it's obviously fantastic, and just spreading the love of art, and hopefully inspiring the next generation, I hope.
Amazing. Well, very similar aims to the Pete Jones Foundation as well.
Yes,
with the last thing you said anyway. But I mean, it's interesting, like obviously it sounds like your delivery model has diversified, and you're now obviously working the workshops in schools, you're working for this trust. But how has sales, what was that moment where you realized that this side hustle could, pay your keep, basically?
I suppose when you start, and I do want to say something about cost to all the audience out there, that when someone asks for a certain product, and I know lots of you guys have already got businesses or thinking of having businesses, you will have an idea in your head immediately. Like obviously you know what costs you need to cover, but you'll also have an idea straight away of what that job is going to mean to you in terms of sort of toil and tears, and it's really important that you don't waste any of your time on that you would spend on that job talking yourself in and out of the cost. Just be honest, just have your cost and be proud of your cost. And the most important thing I can say to you today is what a good business contact of mine, a man called Luke Whitehead, once said to me, which is if you're in any conversation about cost, which is always for Brits excruciating, because we've all been brought up to say that discussing money is vulgar, and so we find it very, very awkward. But obviously none of us are in business just for fun. We're here to make money. So don't be embarrassed. Be like a plumber, be like an electrician, say your cost. And then what my friend Mr. Whitehead said is, when you're asked for a cost, you give your cost and then be silent. the first person to speak loses. So you have to make sure that's not you. So it's really, really
Okay.
hard. But you just have to say it and then just say nothing. Be mute. And that is the way to being a millionaire.
We like that actually, and it's actually not a theme that's come up before, but I guess that's kind of sticking to your guns and sticking to your principles, especially when you know the value of what you're creating.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
Yes.
Wow, that's brilliant. We just had a really good question come in actually, which I'm going to jump to straight away. Thanks, Sam, for this. She's talking about the season, the kind of peak season for gifting. So I'm guessing Christmas is a real peak for you. As a one-woman show, how do you cope with demand? And beyond that, how do you use social media to make the most of special days like Valentine's, etc.?
Well, I have an Instagram account which I rely on heavily, and you have to, obviously, if you want people to see you around Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, you've got to post every day. You can't just do nothing. I find that you can't just sort of do nothing and then have this real flurry of activity, because Instagram is not going to share your posts with enough people. So they need to see that you're in it every day. So that's fine though. I've got so much work to show. It's just making the time to keep up with my social media, but I do. There is information on my website about how much notice I need, but really, when it's busy, I will just work. I'm an insomniac, so I can just work through the night. And obviously you can turn work away, and I think people are quite often, I'm surprised, but they say, "Oh, it's for her 40th, but don't worry, I can give it to her afterwards." For me, it's crazy, but I'm happy to go along with that, if it gives me more time. And often, yes, people don't give me much notice, but yesterday, for example, I was asked to do one of my I do these big prints like this one.
Can't wait to see it.
Sorry. So, it's a bit difficult, but so this charts an entire person's marriage it's an entire process journey of a customer and his wife from when they were first courting, when they were dating, until now when they've been married for 20 years. And I was asked about doing one of those yesterday, and the deadline is December of 2024. Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you got some time for that one.
It's a delicious deadline, yeah. So I have time. So
that's interesting. So do you never, even in those busiest periods, you never really feel overworked?
I feel overworked, definitely. Yeah, okay. I feel overworked. But like as I said, people always say, how much time do you need? Have you got time to do it by whenever? And if I haven't, then I'll just say so. And like I said, funny, sometimes they don't mind having it late, but actually it's not bad for business to say I'm too busy. Because people love to hear that. Then it makes you sound even, you're more exclusive, and they can't wait to get on that waiting list.
Amazing. And the second part of Sam's question was around social media, which I know you touched on, but just to go a bit deeper on that, how important is social media for a very kind of personalized creation like what your business is?
It's really important because you've got so many events, luckily, through the year that gives me a focus to sort of post on. Obviously, I could just, be like a pet every day and, what pets I've done or what house. But if, at this time of year in spring, we've just had Valentine's Day, Mother's Day's coming up, then it's Father's Day, then you've got like end of term. So there's lots of things for thank you teacher and thank you football coach. So there's always something. And in between times, obviously I don't really like to start advertising Christmas early because it kills me in this country now, soon.
Oh, I don't know if it's just for me, Emma. I think you might have just dropped out. Emma, I don't know if you can still hear us. We can't. Well, I can't hear or see you. Oh, I think she has dropped out. Thanks for letting me know, Rupinder. I'm fascinated to ask Emma a question. I think she's got like a unique business that gives like an insight into a bit of the society nowadays and the human psyche. I'd love to know like kind of the fads that she sees and some of the unusual cards she creates. She mentioned there about like, doing a personalized gift. I keep calling them cards, but a personalized portrait for like a football coach. I think that's quite interesting, and I've never even considered, that might be a potential client for a business like that. Just gonna wait like 30 seconds or so for Emma to come back. She might give me a ring if she's having issues. Thanks for your patience, everyone. maybe when she gets back, the sound issue will be sorted. I did find John your comment quite hilarious about. Sorry if I'm bellowing in your living room or your car or wherever you happen to be. I can hear her fine, which is a bit unusual, but keep your questions coming in. I mean, we're gonna cover a few areas of her business. We've kind of jumped into the marketing aspect. We're going to talk about obviously her own personal journey, skills and characteristics that help support grow her business. Recruiting, which, as we've already discovered, isn't really it might be on her radar, but isn't something she's gone through. She's a one woman army. Yeah, we're gonna kind of go into where she sees Sweetings Greetings going. If you haven't already, and as we wait for her to rejoin, it would be great if you could just maybe have a rummage on her website, because it does showcase a lot of her works. I think I might have disappeared there for a second. Great. We're not trying to be stealthy on you, on the audience, but for some reason it's just playing up today. Okay, let me invite Emma back. Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Emma. Oh. I think she's making her way back. I think we'll be good to go in a couple of minutes, or less than that. Hi, Emma. Hi, Emma. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hiya. You might have to touch the camera button on Livestorm.
Yeah, I have done. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know how long I was whittering on before I realised.
Oh, really?
It doesn't want to. I don't know why.
It's funny because isn't this just the curse of it? It always happens like this. We had
so sorry, chaps. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Exactly. We had a little dry run through yesterday. There's a 20-minute recording of me and you just gossiping away, and that was perfect.
Shall I try and go out and come back in again? I'm so sorry.
Let me try one thing actually. Just stay there for a second. Does it let you now?
Enable, wait, sorry.
I've just requested that you can. Oh.
I think I'm coming back. Right
here. Oh, there you are.
Blank. Can you see me?
Can't see you yet. I've just asked to enable your camera. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hiya.
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Is anyone
No. Everyone's stuck through that. They're still with us.
I'm so pleased. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Sorry.
No worries. I mean, it affects you the most because you have to repeat what you were saying.
Yes. How long was I whittering on? Sorry, I was throwing out some fantastic bon mots and they've just fallen on deaf ears. Sorry.
For us, it just dropped off. But yeah, you got welcome back from the audience.
Advertising for events.
Yes.
Through the year. So basically, luckily, there's events all through the year: Mother's Day, Father's Day, and then in July, and we have the end of term. So we have thank you teacher, thank you football coach, and obviously people are constantly leaving jobs, buying new houses, having babies, and in the summer, loads of weddings. So it's the perfect wedding gift. Again, now, by the time someone gets married, nobody wants saucepans or anything because we already have everything we need in our homes, right? So the only thing they don't have is a fantastic piece of art. So I can draw, the happy couple, the wedding venue, whatever. So
amazing.
Yes, they go down well. They go down well all through the year.
Brilliant. You can't. I mean, earlier you said that some of your portraits involve a bit of nudity. and you couldn't, you couldn't say that around me and get away with it. So is there ever a situation where you can't showcase your work because it's, someone doesn't give you consent to share that? Or are you always in a position to showcase your work?
No, I have a sort of caveat on my website that says that it's my copyright, so it belongs to me, and I will use it for marketing purposes. I'm sure nobody has ever read that, but I've never had complaints. And actually, sometimes it works in their favour. So I recently, a few years ago, I drew a portrait for somebody who wanted to propose to his girlfriend.
Right.
And he wanted, instead of proposing, he wanted to show her the portrait, which was a drawing of him proposing to her with their dog at this venue that they go to every Saturday. So I drew it, and obviously it went after she said yes and everything was well. I posted it, and then the venue they go to on a Saturday treated them to supper and a bottle of champagne. So everyone was happy.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you must acquire quite a lot of friendships through this. I mean, do you tend to stay in touch with your customers because it's so personal?
Yes, and people come back for other things, and also once someone is given one of my portraits, obviously it's up on their wall, I hope, or in a wheelie bin, I don't know which, but when it's up on the wall, people who go around will often say, oh, you don't know me, but I was at Kumail's house the other day and I saw this great picture in his lavatory of him naked in a champagne glass, and I'd love you to do the same for me, for example. So yeah, I guess everyone's house is my art gallery once the work goes up, so that's really useful.
Amazing. I want to go back to something you were talking about before, because I think it was quite interesting to our audience as well, was around the cost and not hiding away, from the cost factor of what you're creating. Yeah. How do you feel, and this might be an unfair question, but with the kind of explosion of like Fiverr.com and all these kind of freelancing websites where you can, Fiverr.com literally, it's in the name, it's a low cost solution for quite generic needs, but some of it is, I've used it. I'm a customer of it, and I've had logos created for me, my businesses. I've had some landing pages created for me, things, skills that I need that I don't have around graphics design.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, is there a complete difference in what you're doing? And do you support, is there value in those networks and those kind of platforms like Fiverr?
I'm sure there's value in them. You're using them, aren't you? And they're giving you what you want. But I think I don't think that kind of facility is ever going to replace or do what I do better, because it has to be really, really personal. And every idea I have is different. Someone did ask me, a magician, I think, wanted a logo once. And when I gave him the cost, he said, oh, I thought you were going to just charge me $5, which is just really sad, Fiverr.com. And, you kind of think, why would I even pick up my pen for someone else for £5? Without wanting to sound like a total egotist. If a guy comes around to mend your dishwasher and then he tells you it's never going to work again, you have to get rid of it, you still have to pay him £80, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Our time is precious, and not everyone can draw, luckily for me, and certainly not everyone can think of these different ideas. And if you went onto my website or my Instagram, you'd see every single thing is just so personal. Fiverr.com is never going to do that, so I'm not worried by them.
Amazing.
They can go on charging £5 and cheapening the art world for everybody. It's a real shame.
Well, actually, while the connection broke and we lost you for a bit, I actually encouraged our audience to go on your website and have a look around.
You encourage them to go to Fiverr. My website, yes. Thank you. Please flock to my website.
I just want to talk about doubt, actually. Maybe I'm coloring this with my own experience, but when I used my own hobby to create my own first business, there was a lot of doubt, because it's not, I think although it can feel very natural, and you definitely know what you're talking about because it's a passion of yours, but the doubt will creep in a different way, I think, when it's come from that kind of source and that beginning. Did doubt play a part in, you didn't set out to come up with the most profitable idea?
Are you talking about self-doubt, obviously?
Yes, self-doubt. Self-doubt as an entrepreneur.
Of course. Yes, they call it imposter syndrome now, don't they? And sort of worrying that you're going to be found out, that you're not really good, or you can't do it. Yes, you have. Of course, I suffer from that, and I suffer from it a lot. Going into workshops at schools, you think, oh no, the kids are going to find out. I can't. Well, let them find out. Just, I don't really have any great advice about how to deal with that, because I think, other than just to say we all live with
exactly,
and it makes us human. And if you didn't have that, you'd be hell to live with, hell to work with. So,
yeah, true.
Right. So,
yeah, someone who has all the answers is insufferable, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that leads on to the question I wanted to ask you, which is around other skills and characteristics that you feel that you have,
right,
that have supported the growth of your business.
Well, I'm a complete technophobe, as has been revealed in this webinar. But I have some really, really useful people around me, and I wouldn't have met them if I hadn't really. I think you just be friendly to everybody and be honest and be nice, like properly nice, not
Genuine,
false,
yeah.
but nice to everyone. And people just want to help other people, and people in business, they respond really well. Things like so sorry, this is leading me to say that I sometimes need to use a graphic design, and there's a brilliant guy locally called Swearing Dad who I use. And my website was built for me by a wonderful guy, and this is terrible, I can't remember the name of his company, but his name's Anton Russell. He's a script writer now. Anyway, he's doing a fantastic. Anyway, I digress. Be nice to everyone and use people, and pay people to do the things that you can't do, and yeah, you do things for them, they do things for you. There's a bit of bartering going on, isn't there, with small businesses, which is just so helpful and great. So I can always pay people in art, which is really useful.
Amazing. We just had a question come in around the workshops you mentioned that you do in schools.
Yes.
So the question is, have you done more to diversify your business? Do you, for example, go to festivals and do live paintings or t-shirts?
No, but I would love to do that. I've done some fairs and things like that, and I did like a Microsoft Christmas fair online once, which was fab. I haven't done that much live painting. I would find that terrifying, but I think I should do it. And I've started doing a bit of that in my workshops at school. But you have to be so brave. And but I think it is fantastic to see people work. And I am doing in one of the schools. We are doing a mural. I'm doing it with a class of 38-year-olds. We're doing a mural together. But I can kind of hide behind them. But that is obviously on show, and everyone, it's in reception, so people are walking past the whole time. So yeah. Painful but important for business. Yeah.
Okay. Do you? I mean, this kind of. I mean, I was going to ask kind of your long-term targets a bit later on, but do you feel like you're destined to be, a sole worker on your business, or do you envisage a world where you can meet someone with similar kind of mindset to you, similar approach to work to you, similar talent to you, that you could absorb and become part of your empire?
I think I would, if I was doing. I mean, I'd really like to do much more workshops, and what I'd like to do for that is create a package where I'm actually going to I will need people. For example, I'm just doing this massive legacy piece for one of the schools in the trust, called Trevelyan in Windsor, where we're doing an enormous Where's Wally style portrait, and I'd like that to be something that I keep going on and doing, but I need a graphic designer to help me. So if this is something that goes down well, and I can advertise it on and keep doing it, then yeah, I suppose that would be a team. I'd love to do something like that, but I can't imagine ever getting someone else to come in and draw with me. I think I would find that difficult.
Right.
My imposter syndrome would go through the roof. I would obviously instantly assume they were better than me, and I would just crawl into a hole and die. So no, it's just gonna be me, just me.
So with the graphics designer, do you have any apprehension in recruiting for that? Let's say you found a model that really works, it's repeatable, you can do this again and again and make good money from it and enjoy doing it. Do you have any apprehension in recruiting that graphics designer who can help you with that legacy Where's Wally piece?
Well, I guess I suppose, yes, I think I would. I think I would, and I would probably, yeah, to be honest, maybe I wouldn't recruit and we'd just have to both be our standalone freelancers working together. But yes, I suppose you would. Sorry, I'm not answering this very well.
No, you are. You are. I mean, that kind of natural reaction is exactly what we look for. You know, there's real world kind of examples from real entrepreneurs. Is that?
Yeah, I don't want everything I've done to be damaged in any way
Right.
by a person. But the guy that I'm working with, Swearing Dad, would never. You know, he could do the opposite of damage. You know, he's only going to make my work even greater.
Right.
So, yeah, you work with someone a bit, I think, and then you learn to trust them, hopefully, and maybe you talk. I'm sure he doesn't want to. I'm sure he doesn't want to work for me.
Yeah, no, but I think the point is that you got to balance the risk, right? And it's not always a straightforward answer you can give. You know, you can't say I'm completely fine with potentially allowing someone that could damage the reputation of what you built there.
Could, I guess, but then yes, like you said, you're hiring someone to do the things you can't do. So in that way, I guess it's you decide whether it's worth the risk, and if it's going to take your business into new areas, then you should do it. I should do it. I'm going to do it.
Love it.
Stop recruiting.
Exactly.
Let me know if you're interested, anybody.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to get a lot of applications. I mean, there's a comment that's just come in. It's more of a question, but it's so sweet. I'm gonna have to read it out. It strikes me that you and your brand are quite alike. Fun, jolly, putting a smile on everyone's face. Is that something you've done deliberately? Is that something you're aware of? And how would you articulate your brand? How do you want it to come across?
Exactly that. Thank you. What a lovely compliment. What a wonderful compliment. Thank you. Yes, totally. Irreverent and informal. Joyful, all of those things, and obviously lots of us, when we think of art, we think of it as being very formal, maybe photorealistic. I'm leaning much more towards, you know, the Quentin Blake school of art, which is all of those things we just said, irreverent and fun-filled and just liberated. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to teach in my workshops at school as well, having really struggled with things like still life, and I did life drawing in the summer, you know, drawing. I don't want to keep talking about naked people like I'm
it's out there now.
But I felt very deeply uncomfortable drawing, you know, someone coming out from behind a screen naked, you know, and their private parts swinging around, and having to draw those and do that thing with a pencil and, like, you know, yes. And now I can't remember the question.
No, I think that answers it perfectly. It seems like your brand definitely replicates your personality, which is its strength, I think.
Good, thank you. Yes, I think it does, and I hope it does, because yes, I think when we talked, when we had our practice run through, we talked about it being like the softer side. You know, I'm not very business-like, I'm certainly not technical, but I think you can really make up for that in business by really being honest. And the other thing I think is really important is, if anything ever goes wrong, or if anyone is unhappy, it's so important to apologize, because I think in the world now, people are really afraid of accepting responsibility. But I think people, when they've spent money on something, they just love to hear you say sorry if something goes wrong. And I am sorry if, you know, if I sold a picture to somebody, to someone who wanted, they'd all grouped together, a group of people grouped together to buy a picture for someone who had a massive boat. And he loved the picture, but he hung it up on the wall on his boat in August. And obviously it was very, very, very hot during the day in this country, and it was freezing cold on his boat at night. And the frame melted. And he just sent me a picture of it, you know. Obviously I wanted to say, well, you know, it's your boat. It's your boat's fault, mate. But he doesn't want to hear that. He wants me to say, I'm so sorry this has happened. I'm going to replace it. I'll replace it tomorrow. That's what I did. And he was lovely about it. And I hope he'll come back, you know, and order from me in the past. But it's a gift. It costs money, and you definitely don't want something like that to be someone's last memory of you. So you put things right, say sorry, put things right, and people love that.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. I want to talk about competition. It sounds like, or it might seem like, or at first, at first glance, I won't mention Fiverr again. Oops, I already did. But
when you say them,
it seems like you shouldn't really have any competition, right? Maybe another artist that does similar kind of, you know, personalized gifts as you do.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this, because it's giving me an opportunity to plug why mine's different. So if you go on Etsy or Not on the High Street, loads of people do pictures of families, but they're static. So they're always, you know, they might have families walking, or they might have families lined up under a tree, or they're looking out for the camera and they've got different hats, and you choose the beards, and they all look great, and they are great, but mine are all really dynamic. So this is one, they had it made into a card afterwards, for example, but it's the whole family, like I showed you before with the guy. Let me just get another one. I mean, even if it's static, I'm just saying I don't do static. I suppose that is static, but it's fun. It's got
movement. Yeah.
It's got movement, and so this guy's swinging his golf club. This was for a new home. This guy always wears budgie smugglers. The budgie smuggler ones is, yeah. Just movement, and it's just so much better to look at on your wall. Everyone, they're slightly, you know, they're not, I don't want to use the word ubiquitous, but the ones where everyone's just kind of lined up or in the same thing, I just think you're getting more value for money with mine, because they're in motion, and because it means that everything is different. Yeah.
And when did you set up Sweetings Greetings?
In 2012 was when I did that bunion.
Congratulations on getting over a decade. That's an achievement as well.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
I should be on one of my sabbaticals or something. Isn't that what you do when you've been somewhere 10 years?
Yeah, you're going to take a year off, and no one can get their gifts. I mean, over those 11 years, have you noticed any changes in the kind of consumer behaviors towards personalized gifts?
I think it's just a constant, you know, that more and more popular, I think. And I think now that people also are trying, you know, we're much more aware of waste and of buying material things. I think actually my product is even more valued, because it's something that lasts forever. And once you've got it as a portrait, you can turn it into a fat set of Christmas cards for yourself, or you know, you can get more prints if you've had it done as a family. Also, the other thing is, sometimes people get taken away on, you know, your parent, as an adult, your parents will take you and your children away on holiday,
right,
and to give them a drawing of that holiday memory up on the wall. Yeah, I mean, it lasts forever. So I think, yeah, I've just noticed it getting more popular, I think. And like we've talked about, you get more confident and try more things. And
so do you ever feel creatively that you ever get like the equivalent of a writer's block? You know, you get a bit exhausted, you know, like you mentioned the naked person in the champagne glass. I love that. That immediately I could see it. But do you ever run out of ideas in that sense?
I never run out of ideas, and like I said earlier, the awful thing is, it's because it's just me. There's no one to tell me my ideas are rubbish. So I'm convinced, you know, they're all gold. My children are good critics, and they can say, and often. So I'm doing a big coronation piece for the school in Windsor, and I've drawn Prince Charles, and you know, you say, who's this to people, and they have no idea, so you know it's bad, you know it doesn't actually like him. And you know, my mum will say, sorry darling, I don't know who that is, you know. She'll say, is it the electrician, is it? She doesn't do like that, but just, you know, yes.
And
sorry, you were saying about writer's block. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah.
You were saying about writer's block. The hardest mark to make is the first one, and then
Right.
you know you're away. But yeah,
Okay.
it hangs over me. Every single commission, of course, hangs over me. I think as soon as someone wants to pay for something, you're instantly sort of tense and rigid. Whereas if you're doing it for free, if I'm just doing something because I thought of it myself, I'll just dash it off. It's no problem. And then they say, "Oh, I need that, but I need it bigger, and this time I'm going to pay you." Like, yeah.
Okay. And is there any new kind of trends or opportunities you see where the industry is moving, and you might be able to do kind of more occasions or do it in a different way?
I think being on Instagram, and social media, you see what other people do, and definitely like the person who asked about doing the live events and things. Yeah, there's someone I know who just does weddings. I mean, it looks completely nerve-wracking, but I think that would be a brilliant idea, because then you get to see everybody and get to draw you draw in the big hats, the dresses, and then it's something people are going to, I think for business that would be amazing, because all the people there, you've got captive audience, haven't you? They're all going to see what you're doing, and it's just so interesting. I love to watch people draw myself, and I know if you find it hard to draw, it's wonderful to see someone else doing it apparently with total ease, but
Yeah.
probably dying inside.
Do you ever offer like live streams of you creating the piece, and you give that with the portrait?
Oh, hey, that's an amazing idea.
There you go. I'm trademarking that one.
Yes, I have to give you a commission. Yes, during lockdown, I did quite a few of those how to draw things with one of my children at my side. So you're sort of effectively showing this is how easy it is, breaking it down. Yes, and we're just about to do some more of those with the school. But doing it for a person's piece, that is a brilliant idea. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested personally to have that. That's like a double gift. Seeing it come together is almost as enjoyable as putting it on your prized place in your house.
I guess so, but then I suppose you go through those phases where you're trying to get the person's face right, and you go through lots of bad noses and stuff first before you get the right one. But yeah, I think sped up. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
So when a client, let's say going back to that dog example, do you ask for certain number of images of the dog so you can accurately, although it's kind of cartoony?
Yeah.
Do you look now? I shouldn't have said that, should I? Do you look for like a like for like in your drawings?
Yes, they need temperament is really important. So you need to know the pet's temperament. Just
really?
with the person, you need to know what the person's like, because that's going to come out. It's not just about getting a likeness, but it is people. That is quite a big selling point. People really love. Often feedback and say, "Wow, it's amazing! You managed to capture so and so in just a few, just a few lines and things." They don't know that it's taken me, 80 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really quick, and sometimes it's not. And yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you capture someone's personality? Do you ask for little anecdotes, little stories about
ask anecdotes, ask if there's something they always wear or something they always say or do, and yeah, sometimes it's just a really ordinary picture. Was asked to draw a couple where the wife is always asking the husband where her glasses are, and it didn't sound like the most exciting commission, but it was lovely. It was just charming, and they absolutely they loved it. And I guess it maybe made something that was quite frustrating for both of them turned into something joyful.
Nice, yeah, that's awesome. We talked about kind of using or the important role of technology really in kind of driving sales, driving awareness. Is there a way that you encourage repeat customers? Because if someone's super happy with one of your products, do you do anything whilst they've gone quiet, and they until it naturally comes into their frame of reference? Oh, Emma's great. I'm going to go back to Emma for this. Or is there something you do to keep them engaged?
I'm sorry to say I don't. It's awful, but I feel too embarrassed to do that, because and this probably isn't good advice, but I receive so many of those emails myself. Like if you look on the Boden website for 1 second, and then you get a cascade of catalogs through your letterbox, and you get bombarded by emails saying, "Have you forgotten your trolley or your cart's full," or whatever? And it just feels a bit desperate, which is something I just don't ever want to be. But I know there's clever ways of doing that. You can do money off, and it's all about getting the email. I mean, I have watched lots of webinars myself about how you just need to get people's email addresses, and then you can keep reaching out to them. But I prefer to pretend I'm really casual and offhand and relaxed about it. Even though I'm none of those things.
Yeah. We just had to keep the questions coming in, guys. They're great. Just had another question come in. Does the type of business you have, does it lend itself to a good work/life balance?
Completely. Yes. Yeah. I started it when my children were young, and it fits it. Yeah, because it's just me, and I can draw any time. Like I said, I don't really sleep well at night, so I can just come down, open the biscuits, and draw, when it suits me, which is why it's really helpful. Like you were saying, you were asking earlier, what happens at Christmas when it's busy. You can just work as much as you want and wherever you want. So I draw on my iPad now. I have a big iPad Pro, and I draw on that, so I can obviously take it with me on the train, and if I'm going up to London, or I can take it away with me for weekends or whatever. So, or sitting waiting for my son to finish playing football, in the car, and you think you're being productive actually, but I don't think you are being that productive. But yeah, it makes you feel great. Working 24/7.
And I mean, maybe the answer to this next question is that you just want to maintain that kind of really happy balance that you have. But is there any milestones that you've got in mind for the next, say, 3, 5, or 10 years?
Very good question. Sounds awful. No, I think I'm really keen to do much more of this workshop in schools or wherever, because it was something I hadn't really thought about doing until I was approached to do it, and I'm enjoying it so much. And I know also that there's just so many grown-ups out there that would benefit from drawing. I think we should all be drawing more, and spending less time on our phones and watching TV and Netflix. It's so good for us when you're waiting in a queue. Instead of just going straight away, going onto your phone, it's just so good for you just to, it just sounds really unrealistic of me, but if you had a notebook in your bag with you and a pen at all times, and you just got in the habit of drawing the people in front of you, hopefully without them knowing that you're doing it, that would be a great hobby for us all to have, because it's just so soothing and rewarding, and the more you draw, the better you'd be. Even if you think you can't draw, everyone can draw. Everyone can draw. It's true. It's just you might have been told you can't, or
feel you can't.
Yeah, feel you can't. You can. Everyone can. Come to my workshop and find out.
I'm gonna come. I draw sausage people. I mean,
I love the sound.
They have no features.
Well, that sounds great.
Okay, brilliant.
But sausage person sounds good.
So I'm intrigued. So I know we spoke yesterday, and your new role in residence. I just want you to explain to the audience kind of what a day in the life of Emma is in that new type of role.
As an artist in residence?
Yes.
Well, it's the most wonderful thing, because I have complete free reign. There was no brief. I was just asked if I wanted to go and inspire the children of all these different age groups. So obviously, naturally, I was terrified, and I haven't stopped being terrified since then, since being asked. But it's fantastic to just be able to have ideas. The staff at the trust that I'm with and the 3 schools have warmly, such a warm and welcoming force. Everything I've suggested, they have wholeheartedly supported, and it's wonderful. And the children love it, because it's not maths or science, and they get a chance to move around the classroom and get messy, and or not just, it's just a different art class. Is just I hate to use the word vibe, but it's just a totally different vibe, isn't it? It's a terrible thing to say, but when I was at school, it was a bit of a DOS in my class. We had Mr. Wallace sat at the front and smoked a pipe. I don't really know what we did, and surprisingly, I didn't pass. But I didn't work hard enough, and but I love doing it, and that's why now I'm able to make a living out of it incredibly, and love to do so. So that's what I'm saying. If one can draw, you can. You just haven't found the right drawing for you, and if you can't draw bottles and lemons and old boots still alive, it doesn't matter. It's because you should be doing sculpture or collage or something like this. Come come with me. And
I feel inspired. I feel like I might actually. There's definitely room in my life to be just a bit more varied. I've been telling especially young people that they can do something, and overcoming their initial kind of doubts and fears, anxieties is so important. It's an important part of mentoring. I know we spoke yesterday, and I was sharing a bit about how the foundation structures its mentoring program into a bit. There's kind of two types really. There's the kind of, whilst they're forming their first business, which is super exciting at the Tycoon enterprise level, there's a kind of like a bit of like on tap mentoring, like for very specific issues, and there are youngest age of students. And then at the foundation we have our alumni, which is kind of a bit more in depth, and it's a 12-month relationship with a particular mentor. Mentoring definitely is about that, you know, that you can do it and is a bit of a cheerleader, but is that hands-on thing that you're doing as an artist in residence in those kind of school workshops is showing someone that they can do it. But also there's an element that we haven't touched on, is kind of that listening element and that coaching element. And you've been super honest today, so my experience is that the more honest and open you are, you know, about your strengths and weaknesses and everything, the more relatable you become as a mentor.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm definitely gonna hound you for the next month until you block me.
Ask me in front of this audience, should I do it? It's like, in front of the audience, yes, of course. In front of the audience, of course I will.
Right, everyone had a verbal contract signed.
I did read up on it after, and just the photographs of those kids, moves you. And then I thought, hang on, I've got 3 children in my own house that I should be mentoring. Not mentoring other people and being ratty with the ones I live with. But no, I mean it's definitely useful, and I'm definitely going to give it serious consideration. I totally agree. We all need somebody to encourage us, and someone that's done it before. And yes, like so many people are doing. I read your stats and I'm impressed. It's like everyone's a businessman or woman.
Well, the stats and the impact has very nicely been put together by our programs team into a prospectus, which is being printed and being shared with all of our schools. So obviously we'll be updating our website as well shortly. So do have a look if you're interested to see how the foundation does all these kind of things and really works to educate, empower, and encourage peace for students. I'm just going to let John finish typing his question. Or anyone else, if you have any more questions while we've got Emma. There was a question from Hannah that came in around, I don't know how relevant this question is, but it's around, do you have any advice for small business in the kind of more retail side? So if you've got an off-the-shelf product, I guess that doesn't really apply to you. Or could it?
Well, it doesn't, but it did. I mean, I did get something like 40,000 billion cards printed at the beginning, and they're still here. They might be out of shop, but quite a lot of them are still here. It's frightening, isn't it? Because you don't know how many you're going to need of your off the peg product. Hannah, I don't know if you have, you're already thinking about it, but you know that producing millions of whatever it is going to be more cost effective, but you don't probably want to get millions of it unless you know you're going to shift it all. And then you've got to find room for it and everything. But I think at this time it's great for retail. I mean, terrible for physical retail, obviously, because the high street is dying, which is terrible, but wonderful in that there's lots of other ways to sell now without buying stock. That's the great thing, isn't it? That you can do instant orders and things like that.
Do you think there's space to kind of revitalize the high street? I mean, there's a place, I live in North London, and there's a place in Barnet where you can go and do, I don't know if it's called pottery, but you can go and make your own out of clay. Do you think that you could basically have a bricks and mortar store, Emma's Sweetings?
Well, I do have I've only got one off the peg print, which is it's called Bad Mums Go to Heaven. No, it's not that. I can't believe I just fluffed that. Good Mums Go to Heaven, Bad Mums Go to Maidenhead was how it started. And it's just a load of naked drunk women sitting on Maidenhead Bridge. And it is very popular because people order it for where they're from. So I've actually then done quite a few for Good Mums Go to Heaven, Bad Mums Go to Devon, which rhymes. So that was even more successful. So I've done a few different ones for Devon, one for Harpenden, one for St Albans, and they're really popular. That's about as off the peg as it gets because the picture sort of just very slightly changes. But if I had an actual shop, it would be a bit difficult, I guess, because most of my things are bespoke. But definitely, I could do workshops and things, and then sell my bespokes on the side. I mean, it would be fantastic to have a studio where people can come in and be inspired. Definitely.
And we got International Women's Week fast approaching next week. Is that an occasion that people request gifts for and you get bookings for?
No, I don't think it's up there yet, but it should be, shouldn't it? I guess people need to get behind it and start making it a massive. Once the card industry gets behind something, the day becomes fact. It's like Donut Day or Popcorn Day or I Love My French Bulldog Day or whatever craziness. No, it's International Women's Day. Thanks for the reminder. I've got loads of strong women in my pictures, so I definitely think that's something
amazing.
I enjoy advertising.
Oh, brilliant. We may have one more question coming through, but just a reminder for our audience to join the next one in May with Curtis, local honey man, amazing business. He's literally, I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. He's he teaches people how to maintain their own beehives and then collect the honey, and he's super passionate about it and uses some rooftops even in urban areas. I mean, there was, from where we were doing the accelerator, about a stone's throw away on a rooftop, he rented that portion and set up like an entire bee operation, which was insane. And then got kids involved, and he's an awesome dude. Everyone's saying thank you. I don't think there's any more questions. Emma, thank you so much on behalf of the foundation. It's been really great talking to you and learning more about your business, and we wish you all the very best for the future.
Thank you, you too.
All right, amazing. Well, take care, and guys, look out for the worksheet from this one. It's going to be great. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.